I always feel like I'm supposed to have something else on the table for Mr. Robot, but I don't. It's just the hoodie, you know? So every time I do Mr. Robot, I look at the table and I think, boy, really blank up here. Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Mr. Robot. Last time on Mr. Robot, we had EPS 3.1_undo.gz, where basically Elliot got a job at E Corp. And slowly but surely, he was starting to think of it as E Corp, as he was rooting out a lot of the scummy dudes, scummerinos at E Corp. And he was also mostly working to undo the 5/9 hack. He has basically diverted most of the paper records away from New York, but is still making it seem to the Dark Army like they are actually arriving. Meanwhile, Joanna died. Darlene had to plant a bug on Elliot's computer, but then Mr. Robot learned of it. Mr. Robot talked to Christopher a little bit. White Rose wants Phase 2 to go into effect no matter what. Apparently, it was originally going to be optional, depending on the UN vote, but White Rose wants Philip Price's hands to be slapped. So, yeah. That was pretty much that. So, yeah. This is where I say no spoilers, and I guess we should just go ahead and hop into this episode of Mr. Robot. Here we go. So he goes for the gun. Okay, we didn't see what happened after.
Now, wait a minute,
Ugh.
Elliot. Please, we should talk about this.
No! It was a fake. Wait, was it a fake or did he just not have anything?
The thing that happened is the gun jammed. It won't happen again.
No, this is proof. Don't you understand? This is proof.
Oh, okay.
What?
We are gods.
You really are a lunatic.
You held that gun. This was an act of God. And we
Just
invited
now.
into his circle to lead this revolution.
Oh my gosh.
From the first time we met, I felt something between us. This is what I felt. An uncanny connection, a bond. We're meant to work together. That's what this has all been about.
Work together. You're a psychopath. How do I trust you?
Man, when he has to say you're a psychopath.
I could use your help.
Thank you, Elliot.
I love you. Some things are better left unsaid.
No.
Subtext, you know?
Yeah. Easy with your god boner.
You might just be the perfect kind of crazy who can protect me
No.
from me.
Yeah. And he didn't get that, did he?
After he completed your honeypot request, he contacted a Gideon Goddard, who reported the incident to the FBI. And well, do I really need to go any further? From what I understand, tonight got a little sloppy joes, if I'm being kind, which I am.
This didn't go how they planned.
If I say no?
So that's how it happened. And that's obviously why he lied to Elliot.
If you absolutely need to contact your wife, we have secure ways of doing it. Just give me some time to work on it.
No contact. If I'm gonna be here for a while, the more distance I create, the better it is for me, the better it is for her.
既然你已经更多的参与这次行动，你也就该去学练英文。我听说 Rosetta Stone 不错，很好用。至于它这件事，让里面安插的人
I hear Rosetta Stone is not that good,
它
actually.
需要保护。
So, this is your house.
Oh, this is the news dude.
Houses, I assume.
One last thing. I may have a potential candidate for president I want you to back.
I've created tens of thousands of jobs over my career. Tens of thousands.
That was White Rose.
He's completely divorced from reality. How would you even control him?
If you pull the right strings, a puppet will dance any way you desire.
This is kind of scary and sad and hilarious to watch.
Great again.
I'm Mr. Williams. Please, come, have a seat.
Wait a minute.
Like some tea?
Hey.
Zutter Blonding, just for you.
Oh my gosh.
Are you comfortable here? You have everything you need?
Oh my gosh, this is inconceivable, man.
Been here, so we'll be loyal to you. You're our partner.
Did you kill Sharon Knowles?
What?
Did you kill Sharon Knowles?
I'm not sure I understand.
Don't look away.
No.
Look at me. Are you fired from E Corp?
No, I quit.
Are you afraid of becoming your father?
What?
No.
Do you hate your father?
No.
No. Do you love your wife?
Of course I do.
Were you fired?
Oh my gosh.
Loyal to me? Yes. Don't look away. Look at me. Do you?
Okay, he must be taking some sort of antidote.
Did you murder Sharon Knowles?
Yes.
Will you be loyal to me?
No, I will not. Will not.
Not to you.
But I will always be loyal to Elliot.
That might just be good enough. Yeah, that's good enough.
We're in the eye of a shitstorm and it ain't slowing down right now. But it will. Maybe then we can discuss Budapest.
Oh. Man. I miss Cisco. I hated Cisco at first, but I like Cisco. He's just a good man-ish, kinda. He's just trying to make his way in the world.
She's antsy for it, so make sure you get it back to me soon.
She's a job. Always was. Everything
Nah.
gets fucked up. She's protected. You're not.
Wow. Aww. Checking in on the kid. Checking in on her too. You know, the more he grows a beard, the more he looks like Chris Evans with a beard. Man on the side. Oh, that's not gonna be good.
Hey, hold up.
You bring a razor?
This might cheer you up.
Swedish
I'll
fish.
remind you of the old country.
These fish.
I wonder how many Swedish people just eat Swedish fish.
No one who's been emasculated by crushing or cutting may enter the assembly of the Lord. Deuteronomy 23:1.
I've never been so intimidated by a Bible verse. Alright. Boy's losing it. Though, to be fair, I'm not sure if he ever had it. He's pulling a Walter White. He's leaving the protection of his nice house. The police are right there. I mean, probably not going to recognize you, man. Oh, okay. Is that to make sure he stays at the house? There's no way they could recognize him as Tyrell Wellick.
Okay, Mr. Wellick, I need to let you know that you're being detained locally by me for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. I'll be transferred
How did
to
they-
custody where you'll be federally charged.
How?
You just got me a promotion, you know that?
Oh, he's doing the Oliver Queen thing.
Sure, I gotta get a selfie with you.
How did he recognize Tyrell, though? Gah. Oh, I don't want to see it. Just cut away. Aha. I mean, even that, you still have to slide it over. And that's going to be difficult. Oh,
I was
but he
thinking
did
you
it.
guys were gonna send the cavalry.
Whoa! His cavalry.
You're lucky I covered the area and made sure all the leads on Wellick came directly to me. But I wasn't planning on killing a fucking cop.
Oh.
I was lost. As lost as you are right now. And after chopping a fuckload of wood myself, I realized I needed them in my life. But I knew I had to have a lot of patience. I was able to prove to my wife that I was a good provider, good father, a good man. Now, tonight, when I get home, my kids are gonna run up and hug me. We're gonna make Jiffy Pop and watch Big Brother together. When all is said and done here, you'll have your chance to fix your situation.
Oh.
And then your wife and son. Give me a few more weeks, and I promise you'll see him.
Man. This is kind of sad, honestly.
We don't even have kids. Point is, people want a connection. Makes you more trustworthy. You walk around with one of these, and all of a sudden, you're that corny guy who's proud of being a father. Helps them buy what you're selling.
Wow. Oh, he's a writer.
So, how'd it go?
Okay.
It was cool.
You write some smut.
A bunch of neo-Nazi motherfuckers to death. You know, not that I'm a fan of murdering and shit, because I respect life and all, but when it come to neo-Nazis,
no.
Oh shit. Not gonna lie, it was kind of fun.
Well, can't blame me, I guess.
I mean, how'd it go with Alderson?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. What about my suit?
Tyrell, we discussed
I
this.
need it. It's non-negotiable.
He needs his suit.
I have to look my best for him.
It's in your closet. I still strongly advise against wearing it.
It's time to shave. You know, I like beards, but boy needs to shave it off. It's not right for him. Oh. Tyrell with a stash, though. Ooh. A complete clean shave. Yeah, I never do that, jeez. I never go that far. Put on a suit. It's like putting on his superhero suit. Or James Bond. This is honestly sounding more like James Bond now with the music. Oh. Go! Okay.
So why would he say I wasn't real?
Is Angela gonna have to explain it to him?
Almost as if you were a different person.
There's something that I need to tell you about Ellie.
It's time you learned.
You're right.
Ugh, why? Why must you show? Well, he did miss everything, I guess. I assume that's the other guy, though. Ugh! Ah! End of episode. Ugh. It's terrifying. Alrighty. Good episode to catch us up on Tyrell. Basically, everything Tyrell was doing throughout Season 2. Yeah, pretty much. Now, we haven't really seen him a whole lot this season. Well, we pretty much know that Tyrell is still working, you know, just... he's working with Mr. Robot behind Elliot's back, so... yeah, that's pretty much that. But we haven't seen him, like, how he'll react to Joanna's death, so... This definitely also reminds me of last season when we had the episode basically going over everything with Elliot being imprisoned. So this is definitely a lot like that. Very fascinating, very interesting. Now, I don't know like how much we can like super hyper analyze and make theories and discuss and speculate and all that stuff. But we will go over the notes and just sort of go quick point by point on this one. Again, it's one of those strange things. Like, this was a good episode, but yeah, it's like there's not a whole lot. Like, it basically just fills in the blanks, but it doesn't give us a whole lot of other blanks that we need to work with. Now that I think about it, I should have... Well, I don't know how old that thing is. I was going to say, if I had known this was going to be a Tyrell episode, I should have put the hoodie up and got out my one suit jacket. Although Tyrell was wearing a hoodie for a good portion of this episode. But I have no idea if that thing fits me anymore. It's been years since I wore that, so I have no idea. But it's alright. We're good in the hoodie. And like I said, he did wear a hoodie in this episode, so it all works out. Okay, so we got basically what happened at the end of season 1 with the hack and everything. So immediately there, because Tyrell was going to be wanted, the Dark Army sent in Irving. Yeah. So that was interesting. That was definitely interesting. So yeah. So he had to go into protection because that was the thing we always kind of questioned was, wait a second, how can, they pretty much immediately know it's like, okay, this hack was done by F Society and Tyrell Wellick. And I always did sort of question, like, wait, why is it that they immediately know it's Tyrell, So that's how, is that he screwed up, basically, so they had to take him into protection. So yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, okay, Wallace Shawn, that was Williams, so that was cool to see him. I just wanted to get his name. So yeah, interesting sort of seeing. Again, I like seeing Mr. Robot not in control of a situation, like how he just sort of acts in other situations, because for the most part, when we see him, he's always sort of the center of the stage and, in control of the situation, or, people are talking about him or anything like that. So to see him in just a legitimate, normal situation where he's not in control of anything happening, that was very, very interesting. So I liked seeing a bit of that. We did have, Tyrell and his god complex that began, which was, it was interesting and kind of funny too. So I do like that. He did, one of you guys actually pointed out that in the call he made to Angela, he did actually say that he loved Elliot. And you see a bit of that here where, Mr. Robot basically stops him and is like, hey, don't, some things are better left unsaid, which is interesting. And yeah, it's just an interesting thing. It definitely, I feel like, ties into the whole God. It's not even, I feel like, a God complex, because I feel like God complexes are a bit different, but it kind of is. I mean, it legitimately is a God complex that Tyrell has, He and Elliot have become gods, they are godlike beings now after this hack. So yeah, just that whole thing, and then the whole thing with the gun jamming was interesting, just further cementing that in Tyrell's mind, So yeah, we did have the scene with White Rose and the news guy. What was it? Is it Frank Cody? Yeah, because he says, let's be frank. Yeah. So Frank Cody, that was interesting that he basically works for White Rose, and so he, has certain stories that he pushes, and is like, okay, he wants to show, White Rose wants to show Tyrell in a positive light, because he is now the most wanted man in the world, basically, or at least in America. So that was pretty interesting. I also like, and this is, it's a bit weird, but I do kind of like, White Rose saying like, hey, I want you to basically endorse someone for president, and they look over at Trump, and clearly, I don't know when this episode came out. I know this all takes place in 2015, but I think this might be 2016. Maybe this is 2017 by now. Well, the only way I would figure that out is by just looking at... Okay, yeah, so this is October of 2017 when this episode came out. So, October of 2016, which was during the first year of Trump's presidency. So that was that was kind of... It like I said in the reaction, it's kind of like a mix of things like, oh, that's funny, haha, White Rose, our bad guy, he put Trump up for it, and then, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of scary and also sad because it did happen, when the guy says like, oh, people are desperate, but this guy's a buffoon, how are you gonna, control him and everything? He's like, every puppet, you just need to pull the right strings, That's my best B.D. Wong impression. Of course, he's... No, he said that in English. Yeah, because they were talking in English. He was speaking in Chinese before. So, yeah, it's like, every puppet just needs the right string pulled and they can be controlled, basically. And it's one of those things where it's like, this is so sad, but it is kind of true, It is, it's sad and true and funny, and it's just like, yeah, because it is one of those things, basically, whereas like you look at the Trump presidency, and honestly, it, like he says, like, oh, the people are desperate. It is sort of one of those things, like, you kind of can just describe it as, we fell for it, Even people that didn't vote for Trump, which I certainly fucking didn't vote for Trump, but it's like, it was just the 4 years that we sort of fell for it, So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, pretty much White Rose was just, and we don't know, like, it, again, like, I would imagine that's just sort of an offhand, thing in the script. I doubt that's going to come back into play at all, especially because I think this does all take place in 2015. So, I think it was just sort of an offhand remark and just be like, oh, yeah, look at this. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But it is one of those things where you look at it and it's like, oh, well, that's just unfortunate, It's unfortunate but true, Which, I mean, you can sort of describe a lot of things in this show, like when they talk about like these evil conglomerates and everything and stuff, and it's like, the sad part is this is a very realistic show, And that's why it's sort of an eerie show to watch, because it's like, this shit could fucking happen, So, yeah, it's when you really stop and you actually think about it, this show can be kind of disturbing, even with its ridiculous James Bond villains and, Irving and his hair and like all this sort of stuff, like, and the multiple personalities and stuff like that. It's like, it is scary because it is very similar to our world, and in a way that, like, something like, because you get other shows like that, like Breaking Bad or something, where it's like, no, this is just in our world, but Breaking Bad and shows like that are more self-contained. This is, Mr. Robot has taken more of a, sort of global approach to its story. And, with everything with the Dark Army and White Rose and E-Corp and the presidents and all of this stuff, it's like, yeah, this is kind of scary how close it is to reality, basically, So, yeah. We did have the questioning, which was interesting. So I assume that, I'm assuming that whatever was boiling in the kettle was, slowly starting to draw out truths by Tyrell, and that's why Wallace Shawn kept, sniffing something. Basically, I assume he was sniffing an antidote. Brilliant use of Wallace Shawn, I have to say, in something that seems way too similar to his role in Princess Bride. I almost wonder if that was the thought, because there's two people, a blonde, basically a blonde guy and Wallace Shawn are sitting at a table, and they're doing this sort of mind game, basically. I wonder if that is the idea, that they wanted to make this somewhat of a Princess Bride reference. Despite the fact that, the situation is still different, in this one, Wallace Shawn is just questioning Tyrell and, trying to drag out these answers. Whereas, in The Princess Bride, it's all about the poison cups and everything. So yeah, but still, if you're going to do that, that is a brilliant use of Wallace Shawn, because immediately you hear his voice and it's like, wait a second, and you look and it's like, that's fucking Wallace Shawn, and then they sit at a table and start, doing this stuff, this sort of weird mind game. It's like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, I didn't expect to see him on Mr. For a show that I just went on about how, realistic and close to reality it is, but when you bring in an actor like Wallace Shawn, that's like bringing in, who could be a good example of that? That's like bringing in, this is probably around the time he died, but the first thing that pops into my mind is Leonard Nimoy, or if you brought in William Shatner or Patrick Stewart, who are both still alive. If you brought them in, or even Hugh Jackman, just I'm going through so many different sci-fi actors and stuff, or superhero actors. If you bring them in, suddenly there's this strange detachment from the reality that we were just in. And Wallace Shawn is kind of like that, but it's still such a good use of him, just in this, small little cameo, basically. So that was really good. I really enjoyed that, just because I love Wallace Shawn, So that was all really, really great. We had the whole thing with the Femtocell, that basically, so that's how they got the Femtocell to perform stage 2, basically, to get to the back door. Was Darlene needed the Femtocell basically coded. Cisco brought it to them. They brought it to Tyrell. Tyrell was looking at it and was like, well, wait a second. Do we need this, this, and this? But it's like, oh, well, whatever. Sends it back. Then they get that to Angela. Angela puts it in, and that gives the Dark Army the back door, which is pretty interesting. So, yeah. Just seeing how involved Tyrell is just very interesting. We had the whole thing with the divorce. I like, him going in and checking, watching over his baby and stuff like that, his son. I thought that was very nice. But yeah, part of it was sort of, he was starting to lose it when he would see, does Joanna Wellick have a man on the side and stuff, and so that started to drive him nuts, and so he ended up leaving. But despite the fact that Irving, he basically lied about having kids and everything, the story was good. It's like, oh, well, I was lost as you are. I chopped a lot of fucking wood like you, and and this, but now I fixed my situation. I'm all good with my family, and we're great. And once you're through this, you're gonna be able to fix the situation with your family. And granted, that was really just to get him to calm down and stay where he was and not worry about it. But it was still good advice. It was good for Tyrell to hear. Now, again, we still haven't seen how Tyrell is going to react to Joanna's death. We'll definitely have to see about that. At the very least, his son is not going to any next of kin. So I'm sure that's going to be pretty tough for him. So it's one of those things where it's like, I like the story. It's sad in the moment because that he's not going to fix his situation and Joanna dies. But it is still sort of nice, even though then they revealed that it was all a lie, So, yeah. We also had the FBI guy. So, what was it, Santiago? So Santiago is also working with the Dark Army. He doesn't seem to be like a full operative, but he's at least, there to make sure that Tyrell is kept safe, which is interesting. So he's basically diverted calls. How on earth, though, did that cop recognize Tyrell Wellick under, a beard, glasses, sunglasses, and a hat and everything? He's not wearing a suit. How on earth did he recognize him, That was weird. I thought that was really weird. And at first I was like, oh, maybe this cop works for the Dark Army, like he's there to sort of, just in case Tyrell ever leaves the 37 acres of land, But no, he did legitimately recognize Tyrell, which I thought was weird. So yeah. And then we had Tyrell's return to New York. I do like that he went and got his suit back on, which that was a point for Elliot when it was like, is he really wearing a suit? And clearly he must be fake, because it's not inconspicuous at all. But he legitimately just wanted to wear his suit. Like he said, he wanted to look good for Elliot. And I like it's sort of his James Bond, like, superhero suit he's got, And he also shaved, too. Which, again, I like beards, as you can probably tell. And when a character grows a beard, it's a good way of showing that, time has passed because they grow a beard, they look older. But Tyrell, he was introduced clean-shaved. He needs to stay that way. It's the same thing with Captain America. When you see him with a beard, you're like, oh, well, I mean, I like it, but you should shave that off. You're Captain America. You're not supposed to have that, So, yeah, it's just the whole thing. Of course, then there's the opposite thing where you go to Star Trek The Next Generation, you look at, Commander Riker, and it's like, you really do need that beard. Like, the first 2 seasons, like, you should have your beard. And then he grows, it's like, that's better, So, but yeah, Tyrell is back. And then we also got a bit of the aftermath of the shot, which was pretty cool. So Angela trying to explain that, there are 2 different sides to Elliot, which, we saw that one scene later with Mr. Robot going back and talking to them. And it seems like Tyrell hasn't fully accepted it, but he is sort of like, okay, it's fine. Even if he doesn't fully understand it, he does sort of get it and is like, okay, well, I guess we can just sort of move on from here. But that last shot too of, Elliot waking up and looking over and then just cut over and it's Mr. Robot for a split second. It's like, yeah. And he's like smiling because he knows Tyrell did good. Tyrell did his job and, kept everything safe. So yeah, that was the episode. A good episode, a good Tyrell episode. Hey, we had a Tyrell episode, which was really nice. And probably good, coming right off of the death of Joanna, is good to give me an episode with my favorite character. So yeah, good episode. I'm curious to see where we're going from here. So with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Mr. Robot reactions, there is a playlist on screen that you can click on. There's also another link if you want to go watch something else of mine. There's also a subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I highly encourage that you do that. There's also a link over to my Patreon page if you want to try that out for early access and full length. So yeah, a lot of things you could click on right now. See you later.